The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that what Kyle did under those facts and circumstances was unreasonable, that he was not entitled to self-defense.
You lose the right to self-defense when you're the one who brought the gun, when you're the one creating the danger.
The fate of Kyle Rittenhouse now lies in the hands of the jury after lawyers wrapped up their closing arguments yesterday. This as the judge dismisses that misdemeanor charge against Rittenhouse, and a final verdict could come as early as today. Our next guest was on the ground in Kenosha during all these riots. Daily Caller reporter Jorge Ventura joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So when you look at this trial, and it's all laid out in front of you, and you've been there on the ground, what are your thoughts? What do you think will happen today?
I think the case for self-defense is going to be pretty strong. I think the big game changer for me was when Gage Grosskreutz was cross-examined by the defense team, that he had to admit on the stand that not only did he have a firearm, but that he chased Rittenhouse with the firearm, and that he also pointed the gun at Rittenhouse. Gage Grosskreutz did not mention that in the police statement. He also wrote a letter to the city of Kenosha requesting $10 million and did not mention in that letter that he brought a firearm and pointed that gun at Rittenhouse. Gage Grosskreutz also went on Good Morning America and told Michael Strahan that he did not point the weapon at Rittenhouse, even though on the stand he did. He told the defense team that he did point the gun. I thought that was a big moment, as well as my colleague Richie McGinnis when he testified, when he told the prosecution team that Joseph Rosenbaum actually lunged for the weapon, and that's when Kyle Rittenhouse pointed the gun and shot. So I thought those were the two big moments. At the end of the day, who knows what the jury thinks, but I thought those were the two biggest moments in the trial so far.
Meaning that would prove self-defense.
Yes, correct, because Gage Grosskreutz did have a firearm, which he, like I said, did not tell the Kenosha Police Department when he submitted that police statement. He told them that the firearm fell, and also when McGinnis testified saying that Rosenbaum lunged for that weapon.
Yeah, Grosskreutz, he was the 27-year-old that was wounded in all of this. The assistant DA, his name is Thomas Binger. You've seen him. He's the one that was pointing the gun inside the AR-15 inside the courtroom yesterday. Listen to what he said about the people that were rioting.
We've had several police officers testify that in an active shooter situation, their first instinct, their first training is to go in and stop the threat. They don't sit there and wonder, well, maybe it was self-defense. I don't know. I'm going to, wait and see.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, after being, there in Kenosha, I mean, it was, pure destruction. It was riots. I covered the riots all summer, and by far it was the worst in Kenosha. Binger also called those people that were rioting heroes, which I was a bit taken back, considering all the destruction that they caused. And I mean, till this day, none of the rioters have been charged for arson or destruction of property. So I was a bit shocked by that right there.
What kinds of things did you see? We're seeing the video now of the fires. We know there was a lot of looting and businesses that were burned. But specifically, what do you remember?
It felt like a war zone. I covered riots all summer, and it was for sure the worst in Kenosha. And I think what really stand out was just the lack of law enforcement. There was not any National Guard or any police officers when we were on the ground. I think it's also important to remember that when the Rittenhouse shooting happened, it was the third night of riots. So this could have been prevented by the National Guard and police officers if they would have stopped it on the first night or the second night. So what really stands out is the lack of law enforcement. And also, we here at the Daily Caller, we spent the next couple mornings after the riots just speaking to business owners who had their dreams destroyed in their small businesses. I think that doesn't get highlighted enough. The Americans that were affected during those riots in Kenosha.
I know, it's heartbreaking to listen to their stories, and now they're bracing for this verdict today. Hopefully everything will be peaceful. There are 500 National Guard officers that are on standby. Jorge, thank you so much for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.